We welcome you all to this edition of The Beat, coming to you from 12th Man Studios in the south end zone of Kyle Field. I'm Will Johnson. In December, Kevin Sumlin and Aggie football picked up its third consecutive postseason victory. They did so with a win over West Virginia in the Liberty Bowl. They took the momentum into spring ball. Through March and April, they held 14 practices, and we begin with their 15th and final workout. The Aggies closed the spring this weekend with an inter-squad scrimmage.
We here, look at the flag right here, man. We here, doing it out here. How we doing it right here? Break down. Set win. Break down. Set win. Break down. Set win. Break down. Set win. Oh yeah, come on. Hey man, it's the last day, baby. Let's go hard, man. Showing us. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kevin Sumlin and the Aggies hit the Coolidge practice fields on Saturday. This would be their final piece of padded prep until August. Everything is leading up to a September 5th opener in Houston against Arizona State. A gorgeous day greeted the Aggies as they went head-to-head. Competition is always the theme in spring, and several on this roster look to put a lasting impression on film, knowing it would have to endure until the team convened again on these fields months from now. Afterwards, quarterback Kyle Allen and defensive lineman Julian Obioha met with the media.
I worked through a lot of things, learning a lot of new stuff on the offense with the run game and stuff like that, and going against a good defense in Coach Davis's defense. I mean, a great SEC defense, and so I say it was a struggle at the beginning for everyone on offense, but once the old line started coming together, receivers and me, you can see it today. We worked out real well today, and we did good.
Coach Davis said it correctly. You know, we have a lot of pieces that need to come in, but we have a lot of great pieces. We're moving in the right direction. That's all that matters. We got Miles, we got Dede out there giving pressure off the edge. We got Mizo and Zay Coven and Hardrick putting pressure up the middle. And Coach Davis said it all the time. He said the great defense I had pressure coming all over from the D-line, so we have that. And then we have good linebackers behind us. We have DBs that can press, so we have all the pieces we need.
The Beat is presented by AT&T, building you a better network. Welcome back to The Beat. After the scrimmage this weekend, the Texas A&M Aggies broke spring camp, and everything now leads up to September 5th and that opener against Arizona State in Houston. We have head coach Kevin Sumlin with us on set right now. And Coach, this spring, you're going to have competition, and that'll carry over into August. And when we talked to you before spring ball commenced, we discussed Kyle Allen, and he would have to do some things while not being pressed, although he will have competition in August. How did the quarterback handle himself?
You know, it's called maturity. So, you know, every time that I start to get on him or we start to talk about him a little bit, and you keep forgetting he's only been here a year and a couple months. And he's only started, you know, 4 or 5 games. So I think his growth from the bowl game, being the MVP, the 30th, you know, since the beginning of the year has been pretty good. I think for a young guy, it's hard to push yourself. We'll put some things in place that will help his growth between now and next fall and put him in some other leadership roles. But I think all in all, you know, I think he continued to make strides. And can he be better? Yes. And, you know, how he grows from now until start of fall camp in August, you know, will be a big deal.
You had a new offensive line coach in. Dave Christensen works with them now. How did that group progress through the spring?
You know, it was you know, some new verbiage, some different schemes, obviously, from what we're trying to do offensively in the run game. And then I think also, you know, Mike Matthews being out, it was a negative, but also a plus. It gave us an opportunity to really force the learning curve of a couple players. Jeremiah Stuckey, as a backup center, proved that he could be a backup center or starting center in case of something happening with Mike. And also put him in a situation where, hey, look, he's a good interior player. He can play guard. So we've got a lot of really good competition inside. I think, you know, Avery Genesee and Jermaine Ifedi are really, really solid tackles for us. And you know, the injury to Mike Matthews, I think, helped us develop depth inside and really push Stuckey's learning curve to the point where he's going to have to play for us next year and gain confidence. And we gained confidence in him as coaches, and then he gained some confidence as a player.
In a moment, we'll talk to a couple of your assistant coaches, Terry Price and Mark Hagan, who are both up front coaching the D-line now, but right behind them at linebacker, you had some injuries there. Some guys did not get to participate this spring. Does that mean there'll be a concern about the position when you hit August?
I'm not as concerned about it maybe as some people. I think what we want to do is get them healthy. You know, you look at basically 3 guys that we're counting on. We're really out for spring football after you know, surgery at the end of the year. A.J. Hilliard, who had that devastating injury against South Carolina the opening part of the year, did a great job for that game. You know, Atara Alaka, who showed real flashes late, and Atara and Josh Walker ended up being our 2 starting linebackers inside at the end of the year. And we're real limited this spring, but getting those guys healthy, you know, they've proven that they can play. But, you know, getting them healthy was priority number 1, and now getting them comfortable with their new defensive scheme and getting them ready to roll. They'll have plenty of time and plenty of practices in the fall.
And then finally, think about this. You just witnessed the 15 spring workouts that you just had. The next time they convene on a workout field together is August. Judging from what you saw, what becomes of utmost importance when they get back together for August?
Well, you know, we had, you know, really, we set out in January for a goal of mental and physical toughness to keep developing that, raise our level there. And I think we've done that, and we're going to continue to do that. And now, into the next phase, after practice between now and fall, when we can jump back into the physical part of it, actual football time, it's now time to develop and figure out who those 22 people are on each side of the ball and get them ready to play.
Well, September 5th will be here before you know it. We appreciate the time, Coach.
All right, thanks for having me.
That's our head football coach, Kevin Sumlin, right here on the beat. Like we said, on the other side of the break, Terry Price and Mark Hagan. This segment of The Beat is brought to you by Bud Light, the perfect beer when you're up for whatever. We welcome you back to The Beat. Spring ball is complete for the Aggies, and on set right now to discuss how it went and look to the future, we have a couple of defensive coaches with us. Handling the defensive ends, Terry Price. The defensive tackles, they belong to Mark Hagan. We will discuss things with them right now. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us on this edition.
Thank you.
Thanks, great to be here.
All right, Coach Hagan, let's begin with you. There was some shifting in the defensive coaches this year with John Chavis arriving. One thing I've discussed with you in the past, and it's good to bring up again, coaching up front and on the defensive line, that's nothing new to you.
No, not at all. I think I counted this as my 20th year at the Division I level, and this will be year 14 up front with the D-line. So it was a seamless transition. Like I said, Coach Chavis came in, he wanted to be right there involved, not be a walk-around guy. So the move up front with Terry was smooth. Players all handled it well. Like I said, TP already had a great grasp of what those guys were doing, and it's been a great situation so far.
And Coach Price, this league that the Aggies play in, it's top-notch. Everybody knows that. And do you think there's extra value in having a couple of guys handle the defensive line because it is so important in the SEC?
I think so. I think even throughout my time, I've probably spent more time coaching just 2 guys, probably on the edge, more than I've coached the whole front. So there's so many intricacies as far as coaching D-line, whether it's pass rush or run technique. And as we all know in defense, everything starts up front. So you know, obviously the better that front unit is coached, the better defense will be and the better your team will be. So I think it's critical that if you can get extra coaching up there and extra time up there to spend with those guys, it's always a plus.
Mm-hmm. And Coach Sumlin always calls the SEC a trenches and depth league, not just a battle at the line of scrimmage all the time. You got to have multiple guys that you can run in and out of there. Coach Hagan, let's start with you. When we think about the defensive tackles, do you believe you built depth
with that group?
Well, I think our depth is a heck of a lot better today than it was a couple of years ago. You know, I think you've seen the development of Alonzo Williams. He's really transformed his body, started off as an end, but's built himself up into an SEC caliber defensive tackle and a very, very good defensive tackle. So it all starts with Alonzo up front. You know, I think Hardrick Walker's certainly a very steady football player, not real flashy, but consistent in how he plays. You know, we're going to roll Julian in there as kind of a dual threat guy. Going to play some out on the edge for Terry, but move inside as a tackle a little bit. And then, you know, we've got a host of young guys that I think are, you know, coming along, still have a long ways to go, but getting better. So we're certainly not where we want to be depth-wise yet, but getting better.
And Coach Price, to you, it's kind of the same question. Did you build the depth and get close to the depth that you want in spring with the defensive ends?
Well, again, I think we finally have some numbers, and even though, you know, I think 2 of the 4 or 3 of the 4 last year were true freshmen, now they're sophomores. And even though they're true sophomores, they've had a chance to play a little bit. Our 2 backups, you know, Jarrett Johnson and Quaylen Cunningham, who are currently backups, were true freshmen last year. They had a chance to play some for us to get some experience. And Deshaun Hall and Miles Garrett, you know, who are still young guys, you know. Those guys, to me, stepped up, did some good things this spring. So together, we're trying to form a full unit that we can, again, roll in there at any time. And as coaches, don't feel threatened at any point that we can't put this guy or that guy in the game. So I think we're starting to get there.
Well, I would say the offseason's here, and you guys can relax just a little bit, but we know that doesn't really exist with you. You're always busy. So, again, thanks for the time, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Terry Price, Mark Hagan, right here on The Beat. Stay with us. We're back with more in just a moment. This segment of The Beat is brought to you by Pepsi. Now is what we make it. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out there and live it. It's time to live for now. Welcome back. Texas A&M baseball, they are well into the second half of the regular season, and they are still out in front of everybody. The #1 team in the nation welcomed Mississippi State to town this weekend for a 3-game set at Bluebell Park. A dangerous series. The Aggies hosted Mississippi State, who, although we're just past the midway point of the regular season, may be fighting for their postseason lives already. Friday, pitching the order of the evening. Grayson Long went 7 innings without allowing an earned run. He got the win to run his record to 7-0. Logan Taylor hit a 2-run homer in the 4th, and the Aggies would take Friday night 3-1. Hit that well in the left field. Going toward the scoreboard. Logan Taylor has left the yard. Wow. His 7th of the year.
I was trying to put a good swing on a pitch in the zone. He had left a couple over the plate, but he had been pitching really good and just got lucky, I guess. I'd say the bigger at bat was Mitchell Nell's sac fly. Gave us more of a cushion. I think we kind of calmed down more in the dugout whenever that happened.
My fastball was working really well, and my slider, you know, it felt good. My changeup, it was the best it's felt all year, and that offense that we have right now, it's kind of easy to go out there and kind of do your own thing and not have to worry about being perfect.
Mississippi State came back to win on Saturday 3-2. The Aggies got men on base throughout the afternoon. They just couldn't get the big hit. That meant the series would be decided on Sunday, and it was Military Appreciation Day. The Aggies sport the digital camouflage in honor of the event. A&M trailed early, but then came the 4th inning. The Aggies had already taken back the lead when Nick Banks strolled to the plate. He's gone to center field and deep. Nick Banks grand slam. That's how you match your career-long hit streak. It's 8-3 after Banks leaves the yard and clears the bases, but the Aggies weren't done. 8th inning, Ronnie Gideon's turn with the bases juiced. Oh, Ronnie Gideon. 2nd grand slam of the day for Texas A&M. That's insurance. Ryan Hendricks was excellent in relief, throwing 4 1/3 scoreless to get the win. 13-5 Aggies on Sunday. They get the weekend series.
It was back and forth early, and we made some mistakes defensively in the first couple innings to allow them to have a little hope. But each time that, they scored a couple of runs, we always answered back, and, a couple of big grand slams, and very, very proud of our guys, and competing hard, playing hard, pulling for each other, and wins in the SEC are hard to come by.
The Aggies left the Mississippi State Series with a 33-3 record. They're the only team in the nation with a winning percentage that is above .900.
A look at the Southeastern Conference's Western Division standings after the Mississippi State Series. You'll see that the Texas A&M Aggies are a game and a half ahead of the LSU Tigers for the top spot, and those two will meet in 2 weeks. But coming up next for A&M is a home series against the Arkansas Razorbacks. We will welcome them to Bluebell Park on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Aggies already own series wins over Mississippi State, Alabama, and Auburn. Ole Miss, that is at the end of the regular season in Oxford, but Arkansas in town this weekend, and again, Texas A&M and LSU on top of the Western Division standings. They'll meet April 23rd through 25th in Baton Rouge. If the rankings hold for that series, it will be the #1 team in the country, A&M, versus #2, LSU. But this weekend, Bluebell Park, the Aggies, and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Back in a moment on The Beat. Before we say goodbye on this edition of The Beat, we send out a congratulations to Steve Denton and the Aggie men's tennis team. Already ranked in the top 10, they went to Baton Rouge this weekend and defeated LSU. That means they clinched the regular season championship in the SEC. And they'll actually host the SEC tournament now this week in College Station. But the Aggies men's tennis, they are Southeastern Conference regular season champs. Congratulations to them. One more note, Equestrian. They are on the road this weekend competing in the NCEA Championships in Waco, Texas. Good luck to them. That's all the time we have. So long, everybody.
Team on three, 1, 2, 3.